Alright guys, so I just got back from the World Championships over in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, and I wanted to make a reaction video to my one match that I had over there at the competition. Sadly, I lost to Bulgaria first round. I was actually planning on going against the Mongolian because I had a bye and it was between the Mongolian and the Bulgarian. And we kind of falsely assumed that the Mongolian would get through, and I actually would have preferred if the Mongolian got through because I have experience with that very in close, hip to hip Mongolian style of judo since I had trained with Niamocher, a Olympic bronze medalist judoka. So I'm really used to that Mongolian style of grappling. I would have preferred going against that. But I knew if the Bulgarian made it through, that he would have a sort of wrestling style where he'd be always be going for the legs. Either way, I ended up losing the match. But some notes on the competition: it was extremely well ran. Fios did great with the whole production value. The venue was amazing. The tournament was awesome. The weigh-ins went flawlessly. The whole lead up to the tournament, I felt great. Outside of a few injuries I had, I mean, I felt great. Like the weight cut went very well. The tournament hotel, had a great sauna and whole like spa and workout area, so made the weight cut extremely easy. But yeah, we'll get into the match, and I'll kind of go over the mistakes I made in the match, and actually some of the positives that I gained from going to the World Championships, because originally I wasn't even going to go due to some of the injuries I had, which included an issue with my elbow in here, I'm not sure what it was, an issue with my wrist, and my right ankle was sprained. So I have had a few things that were going wrong for me in that way, but I'll show you all how those affected me and some of the positives that I gained from the match and some things that I'm going to work on and change going forward. But let's get right into it. You can hear my teammates. I'll turn it down just a little bit.
Получает Вахтанг 1 балл красному.
So you can see he's actually a little bit shorter than me, which is rare for this weight division. I'm trying to be real active with my hands and stay low right there because in the prior match against the Mongolian, he had won all the gripping battles and was doing the kind of Jimmy Pedro thing where he was keeping the Mongolian's hand really, really low and making it unable for him to attack. So I realized I had to win the gripping exchanges, so I kept really active with my feet and really active with my hands, keep moving them around, so he wouldn't be able to judge how to stop and where to grab as easily. So I get the high grip, win the gripping exchange, and you'll see what happens right here. He feels that I'm winning that, so he's going to go for a really kind of shitty attack right there. He ends up getting the high grip, goes for another shitty attack. I get out of it. I see him on the side, so I crawl out. I didn't really want to let him have too many attacks on the ground, and I realized I was at the edge, so I just crawled out right there. But very good positives. He had won all the gripping exchange in the prior matches, and I went out there and dominated the grips the very first exchange, so I was feeling super confident with that. I was like, holy shit, okay, this is a good start. I came out here. I'm usually really slow off the bat, but I had done a really good warm-up. I was feeling good, and everything was going good so far. Staying low because I don't want him to get to my legs. Fake for a shot and get a good grip, but that Uchimata, if you go back, it was I didn't get my hips all the way in. I didn't really commit to it, and one of the big things that hurt me throughout the match is that inside of this elbow, when I'd enter in and I'd go for something, this would be extremely painful. It was hard for me to drive through any throw, but he grabs the leg, gets me down on my stomach, which in Sambo was 1 point, so I'm down 1-0 at this point.
Смена судейской бригады.
He kind of wins the gripping off the bat here, but I still get inside. That Ouchi needs to have some movement before I do it. I thought I could enter in, and I actually got deep under his leg, but he stepped over, and due to the fact that he was so bent over, it's really hard to get that drive backwards when they're that low. What I could do, another thing is on that side, I could grab the leg while I'm going for it, and then have a secondary attack similar to like chain wrestling, but off of like a judo attack. So I could go for that chain wrestle off of that, grab the leg. That's another option. But I should really set it up with like a sasai, some foot sweeps, try to get him more vertical and standing straighter up before I go for it. But I'm being more aggressive in general. He didn't have a lot of attacks or first attacks in general. I was being very aggressive, so that is a positive. I'm typically not that aggressive.
Красной экипировки команда ФИАС-1.
Nothing too much on the ground right there.
Против Мерет Гилдеева Бегли.
Another try at that Ochi. Kind of a shit attempt on my part. You see he's almost trying to enter the legs, but here he actually picks me all the way up. And I'm lucky I'm flexible and good at evading, but he was trying to do a butterfly sweep right there, and I thought if they would have given me a little bit more time, I could have got to the pin. But they stand us up, and we keep going.
Без оценки. Движение.
Goes for a shot there. Do a really good job sprawling, getting out of that. This armbar attempt was pretty solid, but as you can see, I already clasped my hands up. And one advantage I have over most of these guys, I'm extremely strong, like isometrically. So it's really hard for them to pull that out. But he ends up getting me over here. And I feel that you can see there's a small amount of time where he was grabbing, and he lets a little bit loose, and I felt that, and I just yanked my arm out and get on top. And I go for this calf crush right there, and I got in really good, and you can see the mistake I made right there. Instead of grabbing with my outside hand, I take the arm that was holding him down, grabbing his belt on the other side, and I reach for his leg with both hands. Therefore, he's able to stand up. Had I actually kept this grip and gone for his ankle with my outside hand, I would have had a much better chance at keeping it on the ground. Because in Sambo, once you stand up, the submission hold is X-nade, and y'all both start from standing again. But it was a very good entrance to that calf crush, and last year at Pan Am's, I got subbed with a leg lock. And then this year, winning Pan Am's and attempting my own leg locks at the World Championships is a pretty good development for me in general. Good entry, bad finishing mechanics in terms of using my arms to keep him down. Just something I need to think about in training. I don't think about it very often. I kind of win the gripping battle again. I get to the inside. The entry was pretty good. I actually throw him around, but I don't get deep enough. And once again, like my elbow was having a really hard time, so I couldn't really drive out of anything. And also my toes weren't really driving. It wasn't an okay setup and entry, but it just lacked any pop to get it out of the hole. And that'll be a common thing throughout the entire match. I think they gave him a point for that because he picked me off the ground, did like an Uchimata type thing. He gets the pin there for like 2 seconds, and I already get out. Stand us up immediately. Down 2-0 with like half the time left. Here I'm kind of contemplating what is it that I can do to get this guy over. He's got incredible base. Go for the foot sweep off the grip. Keep hitting the feet. Try to hit the foot, go for Uchimata. Didn't really commit to anything, and he goes for another sacrifice. He was doing that the whole first round too, and not giving much chance to move and attack. Anytime someone got their hands on him, he would go for kind of a shitty sacrifice. And it worked against the Mongolian, but he couldn't really throw me with any of them. All of his throws were off of my attacks. Go for the leg to try to get him to stand up a little straighter. Works momentarily, but I get nothing. See, just another shitty like sacrifice throw. Try to go for a sticky into a drop, and just can't get all the way in. Not the best attack from me either. Right here. Here is one moment where I really felt like I could have got something. I really feel like I could have actually stood up and like thrown him with a Kataguruma, or just kind of like stood up and almost rolled over and gotten a 4-point or even 2-point attack right there. I felt it at that moment. I was like, I can stand up, and I just waited way too long. You'll see in like 2 seconds the ref is like about to stand us up, and then right as I start to try to stand up, the ref gets us up. So I waited like a second too long, and that's one issue I had in the match, is not feeling confident in my throws and ability to finish. I get the Sode grip here. This was my best Seo. You can see he's actually off balance right there. I'm under, and I actually drive out of the hole with that a little bit more. Actually, that wasn't my best. That was my second best one, but I should have driven out a lot more and stood up and maybe even done a Seotoshi. They didn't allow for a lot of groundwork in this match in general. He stood us up very quickly in most cases. He goes for another low Ochi. I get out of it fairly easily. I do the same thing, and same reaction on his part. I didn't really give him much on the ground in general. He had got in for that one armbar earlier, but it wasn't really threatening in any way. I get sloppy here and stand a little bit straighter up. He could have gone for a double or single and got me a little easier there. Get to the inside grip. Not really too much of note right there. He wins the gripping battle. But here's a good, I should have stood up and gone for like a Taio step right there and finished that. That was my best shot at winning the match. And here's the armbar attempt, the final armbar attempt to end the match. I knew I had like 25 seconds left, and my gi was over my head, or Kirka was over my head, and I kind of just decided I'd rather not lose to armbar. I don't have too much time to make anything happen, so I don't want to lose to armbar. I'm going to hold this here. I'm not at a good spot. Let me just finish off the match, and it ends up being time's up here. So that's the end of the match. I'm really disappointed about it. But, yeah, so that's my match from Worlds. So the negatives from it are, first off, I need to come in healthier next time. I was actually injured from Pan Ams, and then the first practice back on the mat from Pan Ams when I injured my ankle. I fell off my bike, injured my wrist. So can't really help that. That just is part of the game, coming in injured sometimes. But in the future, I need to work on my health a little bit more, start taking things like collagen to help my joints, and work on my supplementation. Another thing is I need to work on getting those guys with a really low stance that are hard to get under. I need to work on how do I get them to stand more vertically so I can enter in for those big throws. Or what throws can I do from that really bent over stance? And it's something I've had an issue with for my entire career. So that's something I need to work on. I need to get in and work with some more guys at that level. Right now, I'm only training jiu-jitsu, and I'm working on the transfer to MMA and combat sambo. So I'm also doing my boxing and my kickboxing. So next time for Worlds, probably going to go do a training camp up in Pennsylvania or up in Fort Worth where they actually have Sambo with Julian Sanchez, or go up and work with Coach Bob in Pennsylvania, Bob Clark. But so that's another thing I need to do. My aggression was good. My grip fighting was good. So those are some positives. I actually went for a leg entanglement and calf crush. So that's an incredible improvement from last year getting submitted in Pan Am's with a leg lock, all the way to doing my own attempt at a leg lock in Worlds. It is a huge improvement in 1 year. That's a big thing for me to be doing that in 1 year. So there's a lot of negatives to take out of it, and a few positives. I did realize I do deserve to be in that spot on the world stage. I gave him a good run for his money, and he went on to fight the guy who won, and you'll actually see his name right there, the guy from Turkmenistan. Amazing Sambas. Ended up winning the gold medal, and I didn't get to go to the rep charge bracket, sadly. So, all in all, I do deserve to be on that world stage, and I proved that to myself, which I'm happy about. But I'm excited to get working on those issues and start to prepare for next year already. Because I do think, me being 21, fairly young for this competition, I have a lot of time to improve and to get on that podium next year or the year after. So I'm really excited about my prospects for the future. And if you like this video, guys, please like and subscribe and share it to your friends. Thank you. Bye.